Good evening and welcome to Gravel Trap Legends GT4 Americana series. This is round 4 and we are heading off to Canada, Montreal, the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. With this evening, you're with Tim Lawson. Neil is away on family vacay, so it will be running solo this evening. I'm just getting myself organised with the cameras. So let's quickly take a look at where we are actually driving this evening. Let me just move a couple of things around on my screen so I can see what's going on. So this is round 4 of the Americana GT4 series, and they are at Montreal. The date of this race is the 16th of June 2022, and the track facts for circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It's 4.43 kilometres long, or 2.75 miles in old school. Originally named the La Notre Dame circuit, the circuit was built and finished in 1978. The race circuit is on Notre Dame Island, a man-made island on the St. Lawrence River. The FIA Formula One Canadian Grand Prix was moved to the new circuit in Montreal after safety concerns with motorsport blighting the 1977 event in Quebec. The circuit was renamed after Gilles Villeneuve in 1982 following his death earlier that year, and he is the father of Jacques Villeneuve that we know from modern-day Formula One. The track consists of 17 corners, and this is the 1988 version of this circuit. The modern day version allows for a track cut through corners 16 and 17, so the league has decided to revert back to the 88 circuit. The ripple strips are a little bit higher, it's a little bit more vicious. For the P2s, we have 4 drivers this evening, choosing the P2 Sigmas as their wild card for this event. And let's take a quick look at the leaderboards after 3 rounds. Now my mouse is deciding not to work here. Apologise for this, guys. So after 3 rounds, sitting at the top of the leaderboard is Darren. You already used his wild card last weekend, and he sits on the top with 98 points. The Bloody Nine sits in second on 88, and there is a tight bunch with Dino, Brett, Mark, No Frills and Scar all fighting it out for the 3rd position at the moment, only 4 points separating them all. But an interesting one is will be a fight to see who will finish in the top 10. There is 6 or 7 drivers all within 5 points of each other, and these last 3 rounds are going to be critical for them. To the guys viewing this evening, welcome aboard. Don't be afraid, jump in the chat, say g'day. Help me out a bit while I'm running solo this evening. Let's take a look at the team's leaderboard. As I change the screens over here. So currently leading is the Twinks Racing. And Twinks, if I get it right, is Dean and Brett in the McLaren. Second is the Dunkin' Donuts, which is Woodsy and No Frills in the Janetta, although they are tag teaming with Mac Attack, who has been filling in for either Woodsy and this evening No Frills. In there, and they're driving the Janetta. The John Deere, or Team John Deere for Dino and Mark 860 in the Mercedes. And then we've got Team PV running in 4th, which is the Camaro of Jay Hill and Scar 66. And then in 5th position is Taste of the Rainbow, and that is the M&Ms of Bales and Chris Payne, and they were driving the McLaren. And then we had the old number 7, which is the Jack Daniels Mercedes, the Pix Max Porsches, the Paul Tops, the Backer Futuri, the KFC, and the Sticky Fingers. Obviously, some drivers have been unfortunate with disconnects this series. Some drivers have also not been able to get reserve drivers when they've been unable to make it. So there are a few teams that would probably be a little bit higher up this ladder, but that is the nature of racing. And we'll just quickly look at the Targa. So the Targa table for this series is the fastest lap from each race is compiled together. So Darren at the moment, DJM is taking it out on 452.019. But what I do take interest in is the positions between 3rd, 4th and 5th, all within half a second of each other. And ironically, 4th and 5th are all within 3/100ths of each other. But again, moving down, we've got 4 drivers all in the 504s, very, very tightly contested. We had some great battles last week between 4 or 5 drivers, and we're expecting nothing but the same here in Canada. So there's 15 minutes to go for qualifying. So let's jump over to the live action, as I've just managed to pull onto a car that's returned itself back to the pits. Now, again, the screen does look a little bit different this evening because I'm running solo, so I'm also running the cameras, which Neil would normally do. So let's take a quick look. Currently on top is Petey. And Petey's in the Twinks. I believe he's driving for Brett S. Topping the table here in the McLaren with a 138.991. You can see how high those ripple strips are. We'll take a quick lap around, coming now down through into turns 2 and 3, which is El Pingo del Lilito. My French is not as good as my German, and my German is horrible, so this is going to be atrocious. Round the back now into turns 4 and 5. Don't ride the curbs. Easy to, well, short shifting there is an advantage. Hard on the power through turn 6 into 7 and 8. I was driving the BMW, and the change of cambers here, the BMW would light the rear tyres up like no tomorrow. It was very, very tricky to get through there and keep the power down. Going down the little short straight under the bridge here, this is Ponte della Concord. Right down to second gear through turns 9 and 10 opens up. Would be nice if they had a little bit of concrete out towards the fence there, because it is easy to drift out onto the grass. Now we're coming down to El Pingo del Casino. Hairpin at the back of the circuit. That makes up turn 12. And you can run right up to the fence there. There is no track cut for the outside. Through turns 13 under the Mobile 1 bridge into Casino. And this is pretty well flat for most cars. And then hard on the brakes before the chicane, turns 16 and 17 back onto the start-finish line. And that's a lap of Gilles Villeneuve. You see DDF will be keen to make up or amends his race from last week. Unfortunately, having an absolute fantastic battle for first place in the Sigma P2s before getting the rear of the car out onto the grass with the DRS wing open, and that was the end of his race with I think only about 2 minutes to go. So Daniel unfortunately wasn't able to make round 1, so he's only scored points in 1 round so far. But don't hold that against him, he'll be a keen contender. And here he goes through in the Janetta. So the FedEx boys have expressed themselves right up into first place. And I'm not too sure. Rangi has been unable to make the last couple of events, and I'm just looking through the list now, and it looks like Rangi is not in the server again this evening. So DDF is running solo. Now we have a brand new feature and we're going to try and work this out. They have a text to talk, which they were going to put into the chat for me, so I can keep up with the chat going on track. So hopefully that'll give us a little bit of extra information. If I can get my screens all together, I've got to try and consolidate everything down into one screen now. I do apologise for this. Give me a couple of seconds while I get myself sorted out here. I can do that and that. Thank you guys for joining our stream this evening. Much appreciated. Just getting all my screens set up. Jump in the chat, say good day, let us know you're here. Let us know who you're following. We'll make sure we get some airplay. Hello, Benton Jazz. Or Benton Jezza. We also have to make an apology for Viper. We have been referring to him incorrectly. It is Viperion and not Viperon, as we have been saying. Do apologise for that, mate, but we'll get that sorted out for this stream. Let's take a look at Stu's in the pits. Who else have we got running around here? John Slow in the Porsche was ultra competitive last week, took out the GT4 after a massive battle with Esky for the last 24 minutes of the race. For everyone watching on Twitch, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after the race for anyone who wants to go back and watch the replay. Unfortunately, our Twitch streams only last for 7 days before they are removed from viewing. And again, we do apologise. Neil Haynes is away on a family vacation, so I am running solo this evening, running the cameras as well as doing the commentary. So do take it easy on me, as we'll take a quick look back through. So the GT4s are running. They'll be running down to the 15-minute mark. When the clock strikes 15, the GT4s will complete their qualifying period, and then the P2s, we can see down the bottom, Dat Boy, Kiz, G-Dude and Viperion are all running the P2s. They will come out for the last 15 minutes of qualifying and have the track to themselves. But running at the moment, we have DDF in the FedEx. If you want an in-car view this evening, DDF does broadcast live. You can find him on YouTube, DDF Racer. PD running in second. He's covering for Brett in the Twinkies McLaren this evening. DJM in the other Twinkies McLaren. John Slow in the KFC Porsche. John Slow is another one of our streamers. You'll be able to find his live stream from in-car perspective. John Slow, the average racer. Gunner is in the pits. The T9 having a very successful season in the Jack Daniels Merc. And then the Gambit's in the pits at the moment. Spark 860 in the John Deere Mercedes. Esky in the Rockstar Mercedes. Woodsy in the Dunkin' Donuts Janetta. And in front of him is Norbs in the rather sad-looking BMW Fanta, Team Fanta. That's had a little tap to the wall. Is Dino in the second of the John Deere Mercedes. Cuckoo in the first of the Hooters Camaros. We've got John Hill in a very sad looking PV Camaro. Still sounds impressive. Just doesn't look so flash. Christopher Razor in the M&M's McLaren. Thanks, Stoney. Yes, Petey's doing a great job putting up in the second place. Makata currently in the pits. He's filling in for, if I just no frills this evening. Scar in the second of the PV McLaren, certainly looking, or the Camaros, looking in better condition than the white version. Truey in the Trojan McLaren. That's had a little bit of love too by the looks of it. And then Stu in the pits in the Spam BMW. And Pixel in the pits. He's in the Pepsi Max with Max Power. They share the Pepsi Max Porsche. Oh, sorry for that. I was messing around earlier. I did forgot to turn their volumes back on. Thank you for pointing that one out. Running multiple screens this evening while trying to do the camera work as well. Confirming, is that better for you now? You should be able to hear the cars on track. I'll just confirm with my levels, everything looks all good. I'll turn mine down a little bit. And I'll... if I add a bit of gain. Right. All right. So these will be the last lap for the GT4s before they will return to the pits, and we will have the 4 P2s out for the last 15 minutes of qualifying. So let's jump on board. So coming up through turn 6. Hard on the brakes. Trying to keep traction, getting the power, try to get power down without losing traction. Down the short straight under the bridge. Back hard on the brakes again into turn 9. Short shift through turn 10. Through Pingo del Casino. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin for turn 12. You can run right out to the fence here. Yep, no track cuts there. Coming down the back through turn 13. Turns 14 Casino and 15. And then braking hard into the chicane. If you get out of the grass, tap the wall, that is a track cut. I can tell you that from personal experience. Unsettling the car through that last corner. So let's take a look at who we've got driving in which livery. This is the USA livery. So that boy will be having Uncle Sam. And that Joy would normally be driving the Skittles Porsche, so he's using his wild card. And Kiz has retired the Hooters Camaro to use his wild card for the Sigma P2. And he's got the Navy Seal. And G-Dude is in the Walmart. And he's retired the number 9 Jack Daniels Mercedes to take his wild card. And the final one will be Viperion. And Viper is John Slow's partner in the KFC, so he's chosen the KFC P2. So his Porsche is in the stalls this evening while he's running his wild card. And I haven't seen a time from these or anyone bringing up a time. We've had mixed results from the first 3 rounds. The P2s have been surprisingly anywhere from 7 seconds to 23 seconds a lap faster than the GT4s. As you can see, the rear wing opening up on the back of these cars. There is no limit to when they can use, and that's a track cut, no limit to when they can use the advantage. So there's no set sectors on the track. And that boy at the moment faster with a 136, only 2 seconds up on the GT4s. And G-Dude's still trying to get temperature into the tyres. Finding a bit of rhythm. These P2s would not like the height of these concrete ripple strips around these corners. It is going to be an absolute struggle for these guys. They'll have to keep it within track limits. Let's see how the cars handle it through here. Coming down Ponte della Concorde. They won't be able to ride the ripple strips like the GT4s, that's for sure. And they should be taking advantage. Yes, they should be taking advantage of the gate through there. So very similar to a push to pass. So the guys have been saying that the rear of the car does get very lively once you open up the rear wing, remove the downforce. So let's take a quick look at where we are with our sector times. Really only sector 3 at the moment for G-Dude if he wants to catch up to Dat Boy. Viperion is still struggling with a bit of pace, it looks like, in all sectors. Perion 5 seconds up on this lap. That will put him in the mix. That boy goes faster again. Said GD can find that half a second in the last sector, I'm guessing through the chicane. Finding more confidence, being able to open up that rear wing now for Viperion. Oh, very loose through there. Tank slapper. Gets it off the wall. Great job. Cars now all spread out around the track. They've got free space to roam. Focus on their apexes and getting it right. Yes, I don't think any of the cars enjoy the change from left to right coming through turns 7 and 8. That boy managed to hold it flat through there. Seven tenths down on that lap. Still 6 minutes of qualifying to go. Kiz has put himself up into 3rd place. Viperion is the only one of the P2s yet to match the rest of the pack. He'll find it very difficult having to work his way through the GT4s from back in 21st position. Half a second up now for Dat Boy. Coming into sector 2. Still half a second up. Can you get a clean 3rd sector? Looks like a good line through those, pulled out of it. Thinking he might have ran out of fuel. Oh, Viperion puts himself up into 3rd place. He's found some pace. Just checking out the text to talk so I can keep up with the chat. Very handy feature that Dino's added. Thank you very much, mate. A man of many talents. For everyone watching, this is Gravel Trap Legends, the GT4 Americana series. Round 4 from Canada. We're at Montreal. The Gilles Villeneuve circuit. So the GT4s have been out and qualified, and we have 3 or 4 minutes, the remaining 4 minutes for the P2 cars to qualify. The P2 is a wild card for this series. And during the series, they have their default GT4 car, and for 1 round, they must select to drive the Sigma P2. C Voice is having a few issues, which is what Dino's put up, but hopefully that will come to life a little bit better. It keeps flickering on my screen. Up here on Fastest All, that is a track cut. Alright, that boy. Yep, we can see that. That boy has a pit lane penalty, but hasn't cost him a grid place. So currently Viperion 135.44, that boy with a 135.5, 135.8, and Kiz at the moment rounding out the top four. The P2s is a 136.1. Surprisingly, not that much faster than the GT4s around here. So for everyone in the stream watching this evening, if you had a choice, would you have chosen the P2 for this track, or would you stay with the GT4? The start of this race will be a rolling start. The P2s will take them out. There will be around about a 4-second gap between the P2s and the GT4s. They'll do a full rolling formation. And this evening's race is a 45-minute race plus 1 lap. As that boy goes fastest. And we have a random GT4 on track. So these will be the last lap for these guys. They've got 30 seconds to cross the finish line. So G-Do can just scrape him one more lap. At the moment, that boy with a 134.9 is leading the times table. Crossing the line with 7 seconds to go enables one more lap for all the P2s, should they choose. And we have Kiz and G-Dude still on track. And one ghosting car, which I'm not too sure. One of the GT4 cars is ghosting. Right. No, Kiz is ghosting. Just see if we can work out who the other car is on track. Right, so there is qualifying. So Dat Boy finished on top with a 134.9. The front row will be Dat Boy and Kiz. Wait for the screens to catch up. Row 2 will be Viperon and G-Dude. And then will be the start of Viperion, sorry, and G-Dude. And then we will be the start of the GT4s. So DDF. And Petey will be route from row 1. DJM and the Bloody Nine on row 2. John Slow and Gun on row 3. We should actually go through. And then the Gambler and Woodsy, row 4. Krista Razor and Duno, row 5. Cuckoo and Mark 860 on row 6. Eskimo and Norms, row 7. Joshua Hill and Mac Attack, row 8. Row 9, Scar and Steve Iski. Row 10, Churi and Stu. And the final row, Pixel Boy and Max Power, choosing not to qualify and starting their Porsches at the back of the pack. So let's go through and have a look at the liveries. We've got the 4 P2s up here, and then starting with DDF. And PD in the Twinkies, DJM in the Twinkies, and the Bloody Nine we can see here in the Mercedes, John Slow in the Porsche, Gunner in the other of the Mercedes, in the Rockstar Mercedes, Gambit in the Skittles Porsche, Woodsy in the Dunkin' Donuts Janetta, Krista Razor in the M&M's McLaren, and Dino and Cuckoo. So the guys will go out onto a formation lap. Watch as the cars roll past here. The other guys have got their wipers on. There could be some light showers. And there's the 2 Pepsi Max Porsches at the back. While the guys are doing their formation lap, let's take a look at the weather for this evening, or this afternoon for the race. I had a weather map here of so the GTL weather girl for round 4 is Miss Fortune. She reports that the weather is terrible with the rain overnight and storms predicted for late afternoon. Fortunately, she's expecting a damp track for qualifying, but is anticipating the dry skies for the race window set for mid-afternoon. The ambient track temperatures are expected to peak in the low 20s, and the track temperature should be around 35 degrees. We can see the cars kicking up a bit of moisture there. So it looks like they will be starting with some rain. It was obviously unpredicted when this thunderstorm was going to hit. We don't have a forecast for whether this will be rolling in thunderstorm or rolling out. We can't predict that at this stage. We will have to wait and watch and see. So the guys on the stream, thank you for watching. I am running solo this evening, so I apologise for a little bit different in the screen lay here, because I'm also running the cameras. So let's take a look where we are, the start of the P2s. Bring up the track map. The P2s are well out in the lead, and it looks like we have one car in the pits, but I'm not too sure who that would be because it's not showing anyone on our timing scale here. The P2 is coming around through turn 17 onto the start-finish line. Oh, so Viperion is in the pits. He's obviously started on slick tyres and had to take a pit stop. So P2s are often racing Dat Boy, Kiz and G-Dude, all making it cleanly through the first chicane. Oh, it is a little bit slippery out there. And we have called a safety car. There has been a safety car called. And it looks like there was something going on between Looks like Christopher in the M&Ms, McLaren has had to do in the, oh, yep, coming undone in the wet weather. So the guys will group back up again. No one making mention of slick tyres here. Just advising that the track is very greasy with this water on it. That is certainly a very green track, but hard to say to see whether the rain is still falling. The graphic doesn't necessarily see, so the lead car is not using their wiper. So DJM currently hasn't got his wipers going. And Petey doesn't have his wipers going in the McLaren either. So we're expecting that the rain has moved through and the track should start to dry. And that will be interesting to see if it's going to be a drying track, how long these slick tyres or how long the wet tyres will last, or whether the guys are running slicks on a wet track. That I have not had confirmation of. Cars coming around, confirming they're on the back of the pack, waiting for confirmation of a green light. And they get themselves organised, and they will be going from the start-finish line. They are all organised in file. Let's jump up on a Dat Boy. And there is an issue going on with the GT4s, so they are doing another lap. They've chosen to spread themselves out a little bit to allow for the track to dry. Oh, do apologise for that, Ben Jensen. There we go. Thank you very much. Sorry, running multiple screens. Well, I've got two screens, but running 4 screens over the 2 screens. Difficult to keep myself up with what's going on. We have had a safety car called. There are 6 cars currently in the pits, believing that they are changing tyres. Don't think anyone's actually required any repairs due to damage. We had a thunderstorm at the start of the race. The track is now drying out, and I believe the cars are changing over to slick tyres. So waiting for the GT4s to file out of the pits, and then they will catch up to the rear of this pack. So all 4 P2s are back together again. Yeah, sorry, Benta Jason. We'll see if I can split my screens. Give me 2 seconds. That will excuse me guys, I just got to respond to a message I've just got to send someone a link to the Twitch stream. Give me 2 seconds, guys, while I get this sorted out. Oh, everything is going bad for me this evening. That's telling me that. Let's see if I can refresh that. Okay, sorry, while I just get myself organised here, guys. Looks like my computer's having a bit of a moment. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Just get myself organised here. A couple of guys are looking for the link to the live stream, so I've just got to get this up and running. Do apologise for this, guys. All right, so the guys are back and racing after an early safety car. We can see so there's still a little bit of moisture on the grass, but the track appears to be drying. And the guys have pulled another safety car. The GT4s have had an issue. Let's take a quick look back there to see whether we can catch up. And John Slow is parked up against the barrier. And facing the wrong way. And we've also got Tree coming around through the back too. So we'll just wait for these cars to catch up. So now we have the GT4s. So letting us off is DDF. Let's see if we can go trackside here. DDF to DJM. Petey, so the two Twinkies McLarens chasing down the FedEx Janetta. The Bloody Nine sitting in 4th in class. Gunner in the 2nd of the Rockstar. Still a bit of moisture on the track there, clearly. And then we've got Woodsy in the John Deere Mercedes. Oh, Woodsy in the Dunkin' Donuts, sorry. And Joshua Hill in the PV's Camaro. Mac Attack filling in for the 2nd of the Dunkin' Donuts Janettas. Scar in the PV Camaro. Krista Razor in the M&M McLaren. Norbs in a very sad looking BMW. That's a very flat looking Fanta. Stavisky coming through in the FedEx racing for Rangi Rover. Dino in the very sad looking McLaren. Oh, Mercedes, sorry. The John Deere Mercedes has had a bit of a touch up with the wall there by the looks of it. Esky Man in the Rockstar. He was having a fantastic drive with John Slow last week. Max Power and Pixel Boy in the Pepsi Max Porsches. Cuckoo in the Hooters Chevy. Truey in the Trojan McLaren. Gambit in the Skittles Porsche, and John Slow kind of returning out of pits after doing repairs. The Porsche not enjoying this circuit at all. So the guys are just discussing in the moment. They're getting themselves organised to restart. And I believe they have been given the eel clear. And they have called green. So we are back to racing with 30 minutes to go. This is a 45-minute race plus 1 lap. This is Gravel Trap Legends GT4 Americana series. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We do apologise for the few technical issues. I am running solo this evening, so I've got multiple things going on. And for an old dog like me, it's too many new tricks to learn in one day. But I'm getting there. Thanks for being part of the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. The guys are back to racing. The Sigmas all look to be doing well. Let's take it back and see how the GT4s are handling their first lap. Punching our way through the track. Yes, some very sad looking cars there. The guys have been into the pits and completed their repairs. Unfortunately, sometimes the graphics don't catch up to the repairs, so we see a damaged car, but it is actually in full race trim. So that should not be affecting the way that these cars are handling. Although we have seen there are still some. And we see the PV Camaro there, part facing the wrong way. And that was Scar turning around. The track is still quite slick, and the early showers have cleared away, but the thunderstorms have left quite a bit of moisture on the track. And the dam sections are still giving a little bit of grief. You can see the amount of water coming up off the track through there, through the last turn onto the start-finish line. No one's mentioned in the stream that they are running slicks or wet tyres. So the graphics on the tyres there says to me that they are running wets, but I'm unable to confirm that. So riding with DJM and DDF here. Class leaders for the GT4 class, and they're closely followed by PD and the Bloody Nine. You can see in the background, and it's a couple of good battles looming here with Mark 860 and Gunner, and we've also got Christopher and Norbs having a good run at the back. Dino and Eski are looking like they're battling out each other, as well as Tavisky. Good little pack running there by the looks of it. Yes, we've got a good gathering of cars coming through here. Oh, that was very close to taking out the back of the Fanta BMW. Cuckoo struggling to get that Camaro to pull up there, coming around through into the hairpin. Let's hope they get that sorted, coming into the damp track now. At the back, coming through Casino. And then down into the start-finish line. There is quite a bit of standing water on the track we can see there. Dino and Christopher coming through. And Eski and the Rockstar Merc starting to make his way back through the field. Said he was one of the faster cars from last week. And he's Pulled right up onto the back of Christopher Razor, and he's giving that M&M McLaren a hard time at the moment. I don't think we're going to see the side-by-side racing we saw from last week, but certainly a little bit of pressure on this track goes a long way into getting the car in front of you to make a mistake. So a good gathering of cars, still keeping it together. Mac Attack and Woodsy running tandem there in the Dunkin' Donuts Genettas. Mac Attack filling in for No Frills. Stavisky's made a mistake there, and Esky Man is now on the hunt. 4 seconds back, looking for the back of Dino's John Deere Mercedes. Cuckoo and Stavisky having a good battle here. Stavisky filling in for Rangi Rover in the FedEx. And Cuckoo in the Hooters Camaro. And taking it all in the Fanta BMW at the back is Norbs. Let's jump up the track and see how we're going with the P2s. We got Kiz sitting on the back of Viperion. 2 seconds off the back of Dat Boy. And just looking where they are on track, they still have a ways to go before they catch up to any of the GT4s. So we can see the 3 cars running here. The blue dots will be cars that are a lap down, and the red dots or white spots will be cars that will be on the same lap. And Dat Boy doing a great job maintaining the lead here. Viperion has managed to close that gap, almost gaining a second there. So we might jump on and just take a look and see whether there is a section of the track that they could be gaining on. Whether Dat Boy made a slight error or whether he pulls away in the back section of this track, which it looks like he is pulling away here. Viperion doesn't seem to be as comfortable using the advantage of that rear wing. But the track does look like it has dried out considerably through this sector, with the standing water appearing to be at the end of Sector 3 coming onto the start-finish line. A little bit of water sitting on the inside of the track there. Certainly wouldn't want to be getting too close to that inside ripple strip. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. If there's someone you're following, let me know. I'll make sure I jump on, show you some footage. As I'm having to keep refreshing my streams, everything seems to be having a bit of a moment for me tonight. Just adding to the challenge. So Viperion is doing a great job now to pull up onto the back of Dat Boy. Kiz has dropped off, 3 seconds behind now. And G-Dude comfortably 12 seconds back down the road. And DDF is making up for the errors from last week. He has pulled 3 seconds away from DJM. And he's managed to get a couple of second gap on Petey. So the Twinkies McLarens were running quite tight early on. They've got a little bit of space between them, but still running second and third in class. And Gunner doing very exceptionally well here in the Rockstar Mercedes, sitting on the back of the bloody 9, who's in the number 9 Jack Daniels Merc. Coming down through Turner's 10, 9 and 10. And the guys are counting down. We're almost at the 20-minute mark. Remember, this is 45-minute race plus 1 lap, so when the clock strikes 0, they will still have 1 lap remaining. No concerns for fuel this evening. It was a clean run for these cars to do 45 minutes around here on a full tank of fuel. And we see Mac Attack Woodsy and Esky Man's done a great job. We've obviously missed that, but he's worked his way up through the pack now after some early mishaps. He's made his way past both of the Janettas and is cleared out up the track. Dino now sitting on the back of the 2 Janettas, and I'm sure he'd be wishing that he could follow Esky through. But I'm guessing the little bit of aero damage that he may be running due to his repairs may be hampering the handling of that car just a little bit, as we can clearly see the standing water on some of the inside ripple strips. That would be making it reluctant for some of these guys to be making the move. Dino's partner, Mark 860, so Esky's got his eyes on the second of the John Deere Mercedes now. As he makes a march up the track. But I don't think he's going to have time to catch up to Gunner. But he can certainly get himself up into 6th place for class. Remember, this is a multi-class. We have 4 P2s at the top of the rank. And so the GT4s, DDF, DJM and PD are the top 3 running in class. And the guys are running quite a rich fuel mix here this evening. Big lick of flames out the back of these cars as they go down through the gears into the hairpins. Our timings aren't exactly accurate as we work our way down through a field. We might stay with Esky because he's getting very close to the back of Mark 860. Let's jump on board and do a lap around Gilles Villeneuve. Dino's made his way past one of the Genettas while we're watching that battle for the place up the field. This group is now bunching up. As we see, Dino clears both of the Dunkin' Donut Genettas and is now on the hunt to catch up to the two Mercedes in front. Keen to go up and help out his teammate, Mark 860, who's got a rear view mirror full of Esky Man in the Rockstar Mercedes. It looks like I thought Esky might have got him there. He did look like he managed to get up the inside coming out of turn 6. But Pixel Boys managed to clear the Pepsi Max Porsche. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with these two guys battling. He makes his way clear around the outside. So this is for position 10th on track and 6th in class. Esky Man and 860. And we can see Mark 860's teammate Dino in the other John Deere Mercedes at the back there, playing catch up to this group. He'll be keen to catch up and help Mark 860 out. And we take a scan and take a look. They've got the other of the Pepsi Max with Max Power in the Pepsi Max Porsche. He'll be seeing the blue flag now and clears out of the way. Great job there, Max. Well, a little bit of a how's your mother? Tap up the inside, remind him he's there. Has loosened his front fender, but they should not affect the handling of the car. And Esky has moved up into 10th place overall and 7th in class. We'll see the John Deere's Mercedes will now be running in tandem with Dino just on the back of that pack. And we can see the two Dunkin' Donut Genettas running in tandem too with Macatak and Woodsey. Let's go back through and take a look. We've got Cuckoo in the Hooters Camaro. The Chevy does sound fantastic. It looks like he's now going to start making his plan on how he's going to get past these Genettas. Straight line speed is his plan. Although being on the outside, he can get the switchback if he can hold it, but on this damn track that would be difficult move indeed. But he's showing plenty of that Hooters Camaro to the rearview mirror for the Dunkin' Donuts Genetta. And we've got great battles ongoing all around the track now, as we try and keep track of these drivers. So we can see Stavitsky now onto the back of Christopher Razor. And the McLaren looks to be a little bit more nimble than I thought it might have been around the hairpin. I thought the Genetta might have had an advantage around there. Oh, you can see that fancy BMW looking very sad in the background. So it looks like we have had one BMW retire, because it would look like Stu is no longer on the timetable. So that would be Stu parked up in the pits. And that would be because his car probably looked a little bit worse than Norb's BMW. And the BMWs are very, very loose. Around this track, very hard to maintain traction and get the grip down coming out of the corners. They are a bucket load of fun to drive. And we have got someone turned around. And I can't work out who that might be. There is a yellow flag, and that is Esky Man facing the wrong way, and he is all the way down. He has dropped down from 10th position on track. He's lost a full 10 positions. And Dino has made his way past Mark 860. They're running in tandem on track. And that is a very, very sad looking Mercedes. Looks like the rock has come out of that star completely. Well, first of all, the star has come out of it and it's just a rock. Let's jump up and take a look at DJM. Now, leaderboard said that he's running right on the back of DDF. DDF driving an absolute stellar race here, as DJM. Managing to maintain a 1 second margin between themselves since the start of the race. Yeah, not much action going on with the generators, with the Sigmas, sorry. But it looks like we do have Gunner and the Bloody Nine battling out here. The Jack Daniels versus Rockstar. So that's a supercharged Jack Daniels. Last week we had a 3-course meal. This week we're heading to the bar. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to add our energy drink to our spirits. Supercharge ourselves. And Gunner's been a little bit of a quiet achiever in this race, just putting in consistent laps. And Bloody Nine, ultra competitive this series. Unfortunate in the last series. Had a DNF, which damaged his chances. But commanding drives from both of these drivers this series. And Mercedes handling that hairpin a lot better than I expected. And surprisingly, they're managing to stay and maintain pace with this Sigma in front of them. We have a yellow flag in turn 1. And Esky Man has now got his McLaren or his Mercedes into the pits. And everyone moving again, or we still do have a car parked on the side of the road. And that may have been John Slow. Or was it Gambit? It was Gambit. That is one very, very sad looking Porsche. And just reading through the chat, apparently Gambit is not happy about having been pushed up into the wall, so referring to that potentially it wasn't something he did himself. Mac Attack now moving up onto the back of Mark 860, finding some late pace in the Ginetta. You can see a great little battle at the back there as well, with Cuckoo in the Hooters Camaro and Christopher Azar in the M&M McLaren. Oh, and that is Stavisky taking a big hit to the back of the McLaren. That one is a punishing hit. The McLaren was showing good pace there to keep up with Cuckoo. Stavisky's done the right thing. He has redressed. Potentially no penalty applied. Woodsy has had a few issues. He's dropped off the back of this pack, but still car looking clean, so he hasn't made contact. And our timing's not quite right, because the Trojan should be true, so maybe True is a lap down. That would be why our timing's a little bit out. And there's Norbs in the back. So Trury's in between these two, but he is one lap back. And while everything settles in, let's go back and take a look at our leading car, Hyperion. He has jumped that boy, and now with a 3.5 second gap, he's building quite the margin as he works his way through the back of the pack. And we are down to the last 3.5 minutes. And Viperian's got a clean run through here. He should successfully clear past the Fanta BMW, and that will put him on the back of the Trojan McLaren. And we can see in the back that boy moving his way through there in the Uncle Sam P2. And Kiz, the third P2 on track, sitting 9 seconds off the back of this pack. So with 2.5 minutes to go, we would think that it would be fairly safe for the P2s without interference from another car. If they keep it clean, they should finish in their current standings. Hyperion has a 3-second margin over Dat Boy. Kiz out in clean air, 10 seconds off the pack. And we would say that the third P2 has, well, the fourth P2, G-Dude, had some issues. He is back in 7th overall, 4th in class. But DDF having a commanding drive for the GT4s. And we'll just jump back and take a quick look So that's your margin from P1 and P2 for class of the GT4s. That's DDF and DJM. PD sitting 10 seconds further down with a 4-second gap over G-Dude. But obviously G-Dude in the P2. And PD has a fairly safe margin of 8 seconds over the bloody 9, who was battling it out with Gunner. Let's take a quick look. Gunner still putting the heat on the back of the number 9 Jack Daniels Mercedes. And still sitting on the back of G-Dude. So maybe G-Dude could be carrying a little bit of damage. It could be why his pace has dropped off a little bit here. It's not normal for the Sigma P2s to be matching the same pace as the GT4s. Oh, that is a nasty, nasty hit. Very, very brazen attack to try and take down inside. But great driving by both drivers to keep it moving forward. Well done, Gunner, for addressing that. No serious damage done. Both racers back racing again and competing for 4th position in class. A few apologies through the push to talk, and the guys are back racing. So we now are into our final lap with the clock having clicked down. So let's work our way through the field. We've got Viperion now coming around. And it's coming down through turn 13 into Casino. Come through the left to right. Oh, this Dat Boy makes hard work of it in the background. And coming onto the start-finish line, this should be the checkered flag. And no, they are commenting there is still 1 lap to go. So the clock has expired. They are now officially starting their +1. We have 25 cars remaining. But unfortunately, the Gambit, I think, is parked up against the wall at turn 2. So we are watching the race leader and the class leader for the Sigma P2s, Viperion. Coming up onto the back of Max Power, I believe, in the Pepsi Porsche. And we still have 6 cars on the lead lap. Coming around through the hairpin, a couple of GT4s to negotiate through this last sector. Coming down through Casino. Looks like he's comfortable just to sit in behind these cars. Coming down through the final chicane. And this will be the checkered flag for the end of the race. Viperion taking out honours here at round 4. Followed by Dat Boy and Kiz. You can see a very sad looking Mercedes in the background. And DDF now coming through with DJM hot on his heels. This is for class win of the GT4. And they're coming down through Casino. And through the last chicane. And that's as close as you're going to get it. So DDF and DJM, PD coming across the line for 3rd position in class. G-Dude rounding out 4th position and 7th on track for the P2 Sigma. and Gunner. And the Bloody Nine, Gunner managed to make it past the Bloody Nine, coming through. Dino now coming down to finish 6th in class, 10th on track. Checkered flag for the John Deere Mercedes. Dunkin' Donuts Janetta for Mac Attack filling in for No Frills this evening. He has held off Mark 860 in a photo finish. Mark 860 just got him on the line. That will be talked about, I'm sure, in the chat later on. Cuckoo and Christopher finished through. Woodsy. And I think all the cars have finished. John Hill doing some donuts to celebrate surviving. And we can see there, yes, the guys were all running on wet tyres. We can see there, confirming the yellow script on the tyres on the tread pattern. We got Pixel Ball still running, so there we have it. Hyperion taking it out over Dat Boy and Kiz. The GT4's DDF. We wait for the screen to finish. DDF over DJM, and Petey takes out the 3rd position for class of the GT4s. G-Dude and the Bloody Nine, Gunner 180 and Dino take out the 10th position. Mark 860 pipped Mac Attack on the line in a photo finish. Cuckoo over Christopher. Woodsy and Norbs. Stavisky had a bad night to finish 17th outright. John Slow would have another disappointing night in the Porsche. Scar, Joshua Hill, Truey, Max Power, Pixel, Esky, Gambit, and Gambit was a DNF, and Stu was disqualified. That will be talked about later. I've missed that in the chat. I would be picked. That would be for speeding in pit lane. Guys, thank you for joining us on tonight's stream. We hope you enjoyed it. We can't get DDF into our chat. He would be doing his own stream, but we will see whether we can drag Viper on into our chat to congratulate him on his maiden win. And good evening, Viperion. Congratulations.
Hey, buddy. Thanks very much.
A little bit of struggle there in qualifying, but you managed to get together for the race. Absolutely fantastic run.
Yeah, well, I was actually 6/10 up on my last fast lap for qualifying, but then I binned it coming out of the last chicane, so that was the end of that.
And running on wet tyres, it was a very, very wet track. It didn't look like it dried up at all.
I was on slicks. I don't know. Did it tell you I was on wets?
Well, I couldn't tell with the P2s. The GT4s, we could tell with the yellow writing on the script of the tyres. But I couldn't tell with the P2s whether they were on slicks or wets.
Yeah, I don't know about anyone else, but I started on slicks because it went from wet to damp while we're sitting on the grid, so I figured it was going to keep drying out. Turned out to be the right call, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was a very, very competitive race amongst the GT4s, but how did you find it with the P2? Were you finding that you were having to ease off on using the push to pass?
Yeah, a little bit. There were bits where I was, especially in qualifying, where I was flat out all the time. You just couldn't do that in the race. The last chicane was wet right up until the last 5 minutes, so you couldn't take the usual line through that. But yeah, everyone, P2, GT4s, everyone, well, as far as I can tell, was really well behaved. It was a really great race.
Yes, it was absolutely fantastic to see someone else on the top of the tree, mate. Congratulations. Fantastic drive. I'll put you back to the pack and we'll catch up with you later. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. All right, mate. Cheers.
So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining our stream this evening. I hope you have enjoyed it. Apologise for just being myself. We will be I will be on leave for the next week. So next week will be Neil Haynes, and we believe he may be dragging in one of the contenders from iRacing. He's been running in the development series for the V8 supercars for the DS World Series. And he has been looking at eyeing off some of the series here on AMS2. So we've got a couple of ring-ins. So hopefully Neil will be able to have someone else in the booth with him next week to help him out. Again, apologise for the few issues we had this evening. Multiple screens going on. Old dog learning new tricks. But thanks, guys, for joining in the chat. Thanks for staying with the stream. Until next week, guys, enjoy.